go. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, let's scroll that bit. All right. Let's see how many people get on here. I forgot to do this last week. I didn't mean to like a page. I like your page if you like mine. Oh, so Georgia, before y'all get on Georgia, oh, you know what? Let me tag y'all. How about that? Hold y'all accountable. Oh my gosh, can we go back? That's not back. It's the same page. There we go. Kevin. Oh, Nelson. Nelson. Who else? Nelson. Tone and David. Okay. Tone. Enemy. Okay. So we're all, everybody's tagged. Hold y'all accountable. All right. So Georgia is opening up today, and they're opening up gyms, salons, bowling alleys, which is just a weird set of things to open up. Can't put your hand on a keypad, but you can put your fingers in a bowling ball. And I don't know how you're maintaining 6 feet away at a salon, getting your hair cut tattoo shops, uh, barber shops all fall within that range. It's crazy. But I'm not going out. And then gyms are pretty, I mean, I don't know how you could, you know, I'd be really wary about going to the gym. But people want haircuts apparently. Like, who's gonna see you? All right, well, since I don't know if y'all are jumping on, I'm gonna hold y'all accountable as per the rules in the group. And I guess I'll just give an update. So let me see. Okay, so personally, I'm high risk for this virus, so I'm staying at home. I just got done shopping for the next 2 weeks worth of groceries. Got a bunch of ramen, dry food, cereal, a bunch of milk. So ready to shelter in place and wait this thing out. My lung collapsed in high school, so uh, if I get the flu or this, I'm dead. So I got to play it safe. I have taken some training on automated wholesaling, and I've got people in here. Uh, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 people, wholesalers in my REI Simple now. Cold calling, there's 12, so there's 4 more people I got to get in. And I can see them in here. I can see them making calls. Everything is going great there. I'm pulling the leads. The only thing I'm having trouble with is PropStream isn't allowing me to export more stuff. They want you to pay more for more exports, which I don't know why that matters so much. But the only reason I'm having to pull so much now is because, I'm taking in 12 people, and I need about 1,000 leads for each one, and then they've got to be skip traced. But now I'm doing it all in there. So I get the leads in there for free, and then they're skip traced for, I think, cheaper than batch. I think they're 12 cents a skip. So I'm pulling the leads in there. I'm tying them to a campaign, tying that campaign to that wholesaler's phone number. And then getting them account access in there, limiting them to only their account, their campaign, their leads, so they can't see, all the other wholesalers, all the lead deal finders that I'm texting. They can't see those groups. They can't see my one-on-one coaching students. And then I've got them in a group of cold callers. And every Sunday, well, this Sunday I did it, but then I did it again Monday, just this one time, so they could see me do a call. So they were on board for that. I've got that video on YouTube. They've got access to all of that. One of them went to my boot camp. So I was looking this guy up in my emails, and the guy goes to one of my boot camps. So he paid for a boot camp and went to a 2-day, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. kind of, at I think it was a closing office, or what was it called? Members Maximum One Realty. So in this office at this brokerage, they had a bunch of tables, chairs, where they normally do slides. We had booked that space with the South Atlanta RIA, where I'm the wholesaling super group leader. They're not subgroups, they're super groups, and yes, she makes us wear uh, uh, capes at the meetings when they were live and in person. And so uh, we were there. He paid, I think, 300 for it. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Went through all this wholesale training. Two of the people I even looked up went to or took my 12-week online course on how to wholesale in 12 weeks. So they've taken that. So they've paid for my training. They've come to my meetups. And one guy is even pulling bankruptcy leads. So I'm skip tracing the bankruptcy leads, and I'm going to have him cold call those, uh, which is just crazy. Uh, and so I've got 12 people cold calling for me. I'm telling them, no more than 4-hour shifts, take 2-hour breaks, um, and then get back to it. You set the hours when you wake up, whenever you can, whenever you're out of work. Call them, mass text them. I've got the documents in there, so if they get a deal or when they're sending out offers. And then I've got them blocked from buyers and from seeing or pulling leads. So then I take it over, and they're instructed in there to say, hey, I'm the one, doing this. And then we're splitting it 50-50. So I'm not paying them up front. The understanding is that we do a couple deals and then they can go off and do their own thing. Um, there's no overhead, and there's no me having to sit over them and watch them, which I really like. So, and I can see them in here in the system, making calls, making texts. I can see the sellers responding, all of that. So I really like that because, if I had the VAs doing it, then, I'd have to be maintaining them, and, that there's sort of a, what's the word? Motivation. So they're self-motivated to do it, as opposed to a VA or a cold caller that I would pay to cold call people. I would have to be listening to their phone calls. I'd have to be making sure that they're really doing like what they're, talking how they're supposed to be talking, because there's no real incentive for that type of employee to do this. And then they're not employees. They are, they're getting paid 50-50. I assume they might be maybe 1099 on my taxes maybe next year, which is not that big of a deal. They'd be independent contractors. I mean, just it's awesome.
So can I ask you something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So essentially, you're JVing with other people, but they're getting the training that they would need to branch off on their own. Is that correct?
They're getting cold calling training. So some of them have actually
Yeah.
already taken some of my trainings, but yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
essentially like getting hired as an acquisitions manager at a wholesaling company,
Yeah.
and then quitting and just doing it yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's see. I mean, and now that I can pull the leads in there and skip trace them in there and do everything in there, it's all virtual. I think I'm going to do that as opposed to pulling the leads out of PropStream, putting them into batch, and then skip trace them and then put them in there. It's just easier to do it all into one system. And then I found out how to get the website to host the properties as listings. So when I get them under contract, it'll put the properties up there, sort of like a listing site. So
yeah, so like a OnCarrot
yeah,
website.
yeah. And of course, I think unlike OnCarrot, it's the CRM. It's it's everything is all into one site. I don't know if OnCarrot does, leads and phone calls and
Yeah,
text.
I don't think they do. I think they're just literally just the managing of the website, if I'm not mistaken, from the research that I've done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just the website.
Now, the downside to that is, there's probably not that good SEO on this site. There's somewhat like you put in the city, and they do a little bit of SEO. But
Uh-huh.
the way that I do SEO here is a little different. I sort of go around all the SEO, and I just make like a Facebook page or a YouTube video, and then I put
Uh-huh.
all the keywords in that. And since that is a trusted site, like obviously Google owns YouTube. So if you put a YouTube video on there, it'll go right to the top as long as you have like the keywords in there, like sell, we buy houses fast, or we buy
Yep.
houses. Um, and you can usually get on the front page of Google that way. And then of course you can buy likes and views and all that other stuff. And then by the time they
Yeah.
find those people and delete them, you've already got real people that have liked and commented and saw your stuff.
Yeah.
I think
Totally.
that's a good trade-off. And then I think that's it for me. Yeah, but it's been awesome, man. I'm loving this. I'm like, why haven't I done this earlier? Okay. I guess we'll go with you next, Nelson. So you want to give your update?
Yeah. So, I mean, I joined a little while ago, so I have literally kind of just got my foot in the door of wholesaling. I kind of want to just take it. As you can see, I'm driving a truck right now, and I definitely don't want to be driving a truck anymore or working in a warehouse. So I want to say like 2 months back, I started actually taking action, and I started calling any for sale by owner sign that I saw. I got 2 houses that I tried to get under contract, but fell through because the seller the seller didn't want to budge on the price. One of them was a JV deal, and I had the buyer, the other person, they had the seller, and the seller just wouldn't budge on the price. So it kind of sucked that that one fell through. And then the other one, it was just, I couldn't get the guy down from, it was a complete gut job. The house was already gutted. He wanted 195 for the property. There was no way he was getting 195, even with it being completely gutted. And he just was insulted by my initial offer and just wouldn't go any lower than 190. So my update as of now is I plan on finishing up. I made my Facebook pages for Facebook ads, and I just have to go into Facebook Ad Manager and start my campaign.
What are
So
you
that's
using
kind of,
to follow up with these people?
I'm sorry.
How are you, or what CRM are you using?
I'm actually not using a CRM at the moment. Like I said, I just got my foot in the door.
Okay.
So I'm going to just kind of just track everybody that goes through the Facebook ads, and then eventually I'll build my way up to a CRM. But because I'm just starting, I don't have a lot of funds to even put in right now.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that I can start generating leads, and then I can manage them on my own, and then eventually I'll do the CRM, so that I can have a better organization system.
I would suggest Podio. It's free.
Yeah.
Up until you have like, I think
You
it's
said Podio?
5 users now. So it's PODIO.com. Podio.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah,
it's Citrix people. Citrix.
I listen to Brent Daniels, Maxwell, all those people, and they use the Podio, so I know all about Podio. Like I said, I will eventually get there. It's just with me going to be just starting generating leads. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I also am going to be doing driving for dollars as well. So I have Deal Machine as an app.
Oh, okay. That would work then. Yeah.
So right now, those are my two sources of calling. Because the thing with, like, I wanted to do cold calling, and I was going to buy a list. I was going to do the vacant absentee owner list. But I drive a truck, and I have 5 children, so trying to find time to call people
Mhm.
is like non-existent. So I need something that kind of that will work in the background while I'm driving the truck or working in the warehouse. And then as I'm going to and from work, I can do drive for dollars on my way home.
Yeah. Uh, Take a look in there. They have tags in Deal Machine on properties, so you could
Uh,
put like, uh, you could make up your own, like needs follow up or is on the fence,
yeah, that
all that kind
and
of
I
stuff.
actually saw that. It was awesome because I had 2 properties because my wife has me go and pick up miscellaneous things from OfferUp or Facebook Market or whatever. So I drove and picked something up, and I saw a big like a distressed house, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So then I wrote down the address, and then I actually put it in Deal Machine when I got Deal Machine, and I know it's not going to be effective, but I sent them a mailer from Deal Machine, and then I was able to put in
Yeah,
the notes, sent mailer, follow up. You know,
yeah. Uh, Check out their. They got some new templates on there for
yeah,
uh,
COVID-19.
COVID-19, and it says,
Yeah, I
buy
saw
your
it.
house virtually. I
Yeah,
stole that. Like that's the main one I'm using right now.
yeah. So that's the template I actually used. So I was pretty like I said, I'm just getting started into all of this. I've been doing a ton of research for almost a whole year now. I was injured when I was working for the company I work now with. I was injured and I was not able to work for almost 9 months. I had a spinal injury, so I was I was fell behind in bills and everything, and then I stumbled on a wholesale video. I think it was Sean Terry, and then I just went down the whole rabbit hole, you know. So um,
Yeah,
while I was recovering, I was watching and listening as much as I can. Um, I was like this close away from joining Jerry Norton and just paying the $15,000 for him to personally coach me. Um, but I wanted to try and figure it out on my own before I pay somebody.
yeah, man, you could probably like buy a house for that
Yeah,
price. Like,
Yeah, so
that's
that's the
steep.
crazy thing, right?
That's
Like
real
you said,
steep.
they told me $15,000, and I'm like $15,000.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's gonna cost $15,000, and I'm like, well, that's like a wholesale fee, like
yeah, really.
like, and that's a down payment on a house. Like, I don't
well,
know.
there's
Yeah.
some houses here that you could get for that price. I mean, I bought one for $1.
Where are
Like,
you at?
Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm in Illinois, so it,
What
wholesaling.
part?
I'm gonna have to go virtual eventually
Hmm.
because they passed that law where you have to have your real estate license after one deal. So
Oh wow.
virtually, virtually is the way that I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
go. But I just want to get my first deal in Illinois and then try and do it, move into different markets.
yeah.
That's
Now,
pretty much what we was talking about, Mike.
yeah. The law is that in order to broker a deal between buyer and seller, you have to have a license. But the way you get around that is with transactional funding. So if
Okay.
you actually are the B and the seller is A, so the A to B, you actually buy the property and you own it for about a day. And then the next day you turn around and then sell it to the end buyer. It's technically not like you're not brokering a deal.
So it's like a
Yeah.
double
So
closing.
Yeah.
yeah, you can do the double close, but again, those are like more expensive, So, I mean, obviously, I know that there's ways around it. I just want to like kind of do it I guess the traditional way, just
Yeah.
so that I can get my first deal under my belt, and then I'll have like the funds to like do a double close or the funds to get transactional funding and do it that way.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it really sucks. It really sucks that they passed that law in Illinois. Because I literally like, as soon as I found out about wholesaling, I was about to start diving in, and then they were like, "Oh, nope, there's a new law," and then I was like, "Oh, all right."
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I was at a Pete Fortunato. He's a real old timer. and I was at a thing in Tampa a couple years ago, and he said he was talking about Dodd-Frank because this was when that just passed, and everybody was freaking out like, how are we going to do, lease options and all this other stuff? And he said, let them write it down, and then we'll find a way around it. And what he meant was like, is when they make a law, there's some loophole in there that'll let us through and do it. So
Yeah.
there's always going to be a way around it. Yeah. And then I would say, if I could give you any advice, I would say like if you get those sellers like that where like they don't respond to your stuff or they won't come down on the price, put it in your I think in your Google Calendar. You can set it like every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks to
Follow
up and just say follow up with this seller and just see if they sold the house, ask them how they're doing, and then every like 3 weeks. I mean, I don't know about now, it's probably like every week. But it used to be for me every 3 weeks. And just follow up with them, and eventually like when they get hit with medical bills or their tenants stop paying, you want to be the one that they remember when they finally hit that breaking point.
Totally. And so the thing that sucks about that house is, right, the one that I talked about first, the complete gut job. I mean, it was down to its studs. It was in a really nice area. Houses around there are selling for like 500,000 to 700,000, and the seller, he actually had plans to completely renovate it for his daughter, and he was going to do an extensive remodel, so a high price remodel. So when I was talking to him, he obviously he wouldn't give me the numbers of what he was thinking of spending for remodeling it and all that stuff. So I kind of had to figure it out on my own. And then when I met with him, he said that he's motivated to sell. His daughter, their plans changed. They had a baby, so they're not gonna have that house anymore. They bought a different house or whatever. And then he said that he's not set on 195. He's open for negotiation, and he's even considering seller finance. And because I was super new and super green, I didn't know like that was kind of the door. Now, because I just read up on subject 2, that probably would have been the door to go subject 2 with it. But yeah, he said that if he didn't sell it, he was just gonna do the renovations himself and sell it that way. But I mean, I've tried to reach out to him a couple times. The house is still up for sale. He's just not responding.
Oh yeah. Oh, so he ghosted you. Man.
Yeah, he ghosted me.
Man. Maybe you could send him a yellow letter. I don't know if you want to send him a postcard through Deal Machine, but you can probably send him a letter and say like, hey, this is me. We talked on the phone. We had a deal, but it fell through. Like, what if we take over the mortgage?
Yeah. So a quick question. Have you ever done subject 2?
Yeah. So this lady just couldn't pay the mortgage anymore, and she got out of it, and she just gave me the login to pay the mortgage. We never actually purchased the house. We just have a tenant in there. I got I forget what it's called. It's a warranty deed. So we actually own the deed to the house, but the mortgage is still in her name. And so we're paying it off, and we just log online. Tenant pays $12.50. We go online and pay $8.50. I mean, it's just like that. And I was not expecting her to just give me the login info. But most of the time, you'll actually like purchase the house and
you have to go and close the escrow on the house. Like I said, I'm just getting into it, So, what kind of agreement do you need for a subject 2? Is it best to have a lawyer handle that, like draw up an agreement for you, so that way you can use it, or what would you
Yeah.
suggest for subject to?
Well, what I did was I just had a regular wholesale contract, and I just added in the purchase area, that we're purchasing it subject to the existing mortgage. And there was nothing she wanted. So I asked her like a couple times, like, what do you want for it? What do you want for it? And she said, I just want out. I just want out. And so she had a place to go. So that wasn't a problem. And then the house didn't need any work except for, I think, on a back deck.
Uh-huh.
But the tenant we had moved in was the contractor. And so he smoked. So the deal was, hey, if you fix the back deck, you can go out there to smoke. It was fixed in like a day. We bought the lumber. And I think that was all the work we did to the property. And then we sold some of the stuff in the property on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to get it out of there.
Yeah.
And then and that was it. And we just
Okay.
took it over. So we moved the tenant in pretty quick and started collecting that money, and then used that money to then pay the mortgage that month. And she hadn't paid the mortgage the previous month. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, well, just ask her if she can pay it.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay. And so I was like, hey, can you pay it? And she said, yeah, I can pay it. And I was like, awesome. All right. So it was literally like no money out of my pocket to do anything to the tenant. Paid it all.
Cool. Because what I'm thinking, and this is like when I tell you I literally just stumbled on it, I mean, it probably was last week that I dove into subject to, on top of just listening to wholesale stuff as well and setting up all the Facebook stuff. So what I was thinking with that property and that particular seller is, he said that he was interested, like he would go down to 170. So I was thinking if I could get him to do a subject to at 170, I could potentially do the hard money loan and get the house fixed up and then put it on the market myself, like for myself, and I would make a bigger income, I think. When I had the house, when I comped the house, if it was fixed up, it'd be worth around 340. So obviously, I think I would have to take about 40 off the top, and it would take about 60 to 70 to fix it up. Do you think that that would be a good idea to try and move forward with that, or would I just kind of let that deal go?
I would say try and wholesale it first, then try and do any like work to it. I would wait until like your fifth or sixth deal before you start keeping them.
Okay.
And then you also want to see like when you sell your wholesale deals, you want to see like what the other buyers are doing to it. Like, are they fixing it up with all the nicest furnishings, all that stuff, or are they just getting them rent ready and then turning around and renting them out?
Yeah, because
I would do
so
that.
the thing with this area, it's a really high class area. It's sitting on a lake. So this house, like all the houses around it are, like I said, 400, 500. There's some that are even $1 million in that particular area. It's kind of like I guess it would be like an HOA area, where it's a really high class area. It's just that one house that's sitting there. It's really outdated. It's probably the oldest house in that area. He completely gutted the house. So my concerns are that it's been sitting for, I want to say, for at least a year. And in Illinois, if it's just sitting without any electricity or anything like that, it's more than likely going to be pretty in rough shape, like plumbing wise. And I tried to get him down. My initial offer was $100K. And he said that was way too low. It's more of an insult than anything. So then I went up from 100K to 145, and he said that was a low ball, and he just wasn't having it. So then he actually met with me after that. After I lowballed him, he met with me, and that's when we discussed that he's open to seller finance and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to salvage this deal, or if I should just kind of just let it go.
I would still follow up with him. Ask him like what I think he wanted 190. Ask him if that would cover the mortgage, and then how
So
much of that would be covered by the mortgage. And that way
so
you could
I'm
sort of play it like, well, if he wants, like, so if it's
okay.
170, 80, and then 90, that would be he would want 20,000, and then the mortgage would be 170, just as an example.
Okay. Okay.
Where you
Well,
get your comps from, Nelson?
so for that deal, I used Redfin. I went
Okay.
on Redfin. Jerry Norton kind of taught me how to comp properties on Redfin. And I recently got PropStream. I haven't really been able to use it because I haven't had time to really dive into it. But I'm excited to try and use PropStream to do comping because, I mean, I think it's a little bit better than doing it the Redfin. I feel like it's a little bit more accurate too. Because like I said, when I was talking to him, I comped the property. Like I said, it was ARV was 350 if you just did the standard, just a standard upgrade, you know. If you did a high class upgrade, then it could go way higher than 350. But because he was talking about adding like I want to say 1,000 square feet to the house. So he had the plans drawn up and everything for that. So I kind of comped it for both ways. Like if I was able to get his plans in with the deal, then I had the comp. I mean, I think it was close to 750. But without his plans and just a basic remodel, it would have been at 350. And like I said, he wanted 190 for it. I offered him 100 for it, and the rehab to get it to the 350 was about 100K. So, you know, I felt like that was a really good offer at 100K, like for a wholesale standpoint, because any buyer that's a fix and flipper that's gonna come in, they're gonna want that equity in the deal if they're gonna put 100K into remodel, you know, and he just wasn't budging.
Yeah. So 70% of 300,000 is 210, or 210,000, and then if you subtract 100,000 for the rehab, then 110 is your
Yep.
So that was pretty much your Mayo right there, was the 100,000,
Yep.
and you would sell it for 110.
Yeah.
And I've heard that you know, all of my offers are now coming down 20% from the ARV, just
Yeah.
because of how like all the hard money lenders are tighter, all of the cash buyers are lighter. Everything is sort of crunching down because they're calculating that when they turn around and try to resell it or rent it out, they're going to have some trouble.
Yeah. So are you at like 50% then?
Uh,
Like
I'm
ARV
telling all
times
my
50,
people to do 30% offers.
30. Okay.
So
Well, that's
30% of the ARV.
Okay.
would be
Yeah. Just because I don't like, if you do all the math and all that stuff of that, then it's 88. So then you'd get it for 88 and then sell it for 98. I don't know if he'll come down that low
and
unless
then so
there's a mortgage on it and you can sort of take over the mortgage. Then it would make sense.
well see that's what I like. Like I said, he ghosted me, so like he's not responding to the calls that I left him. You know, so the only other way that I think I could reach him is by email and maybe just try and send a proposal through email and see if he bites.
Yeah, and then send him a text and say, "Hey, I emailed you an offer that I think you might like."
Yeah.
I think you can look up the mortgage info on PropStream.
Yeah, you can.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I didn't have PropStream when I like started looking into this deal.
Yeah.
So I now have PropStream, so I can definitely look into that and look into the area of the house and everything.
Hmm. Yeah, I would definitely do that. All
Yeah,
right,
well,
Kevin, you want to go? Or I mean, are you? Is that all your updates?
yeah, that's all I have to update. So thank you guys so much for your input and everything.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah.
All right. All right, Kevin. Where are you at, Kevin?
Right now, I'm working on a tax delinquent list. About to submit it. About to set up some RVMs and some text messaging. I don't know if it's kind of crazy, but I'm thinking about. I've been hearing about 7 touches, basically to get the seller on the phone for people who not picking up on the first initial call. So I'm thinking I was spreading between RVM text message and cold calling. I want to, at least do about 7 times. So I was gonna call the list 3 times, and I was going to send some RVMs about a couple of times and some text messages, and alternate those within a month. That's my plan as of right now.
Yeah.
See what I can get from that. What you think?
So I found that I've been using that call loop
Mm,
to do that, and so what I told my cold callers is to, uh, I'll go on call loop, send out the RVM, have it come back to their number, and then they, of course, pick up the phone on those people, and then they cold call, uh, and then they mass text everybody. So they mass text them once they get in to anybody that didn't respond. So
mm,
they're doing pretty much the same thing, except I don't sort of have them on like any sort, like they make their own schedule. Uh,
okay.
but yeah, and I guess you can track all of that in
I was
that
getting
dialer, right?
with who?
In that dialer that you have, like you can track like how
Not
many ringless
incoming.
voicemails.
Not with that dollar I'm using. I was actually about to get another subscription with CallRail,
Oh yeah,
and I know CallRail gives you up to 10 phone numbers. So I was going to alternate, from the 3 numbers from my 3 campaigns, and use those 3 campaigns to basically track where the calls are coming in at. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah, yeah. There you go, Nelson. Get some call rail numbers and call him from a different number, and he'll pick up right away, probably. Trick him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I
Yeah,
could also just try and use my wife's phone.
yeah. Man,
Because I mean, if I'm calling up, I got a Google Voice right now, and I mean, I can manage it if I'm just having one campaign. But if I'm trying to get into multiple campaigns, it's gonna be kind of, I want to know exactly where my money comes from. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and
that's
then
the plan.
CallRail records them all and like
Yeah,
tracks it all. I mean, you can see like charts and graphs and stuff when you go to the site.
right.
I think that's Max Maxwell too.
He bought it.
Yeah,
Oh, he did. He bought CallRail.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know he bought
and
REI Skip, but I didn't know.
yeah. He bought it when I think he bought it when he bought REI Skip. I think they worked
Yeah.
out something when he bought REI Skip.
and then
So
he uses
Call Loop does
Podio.
the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then he uses Podio. I realized from one of his videos, but he
Yep.
never talks about Podio, and I
Yeah.
don't think he talks about it unless he can like sell it or get a affiliate link
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
And
because
I'm
I
waiting
mean,
for him to build a CRM, and then my thinking is that he's gonna put the skip tracing, which isn't that good, and then
Yeah.
put all of them in the same CRM together. I mean, because everybody else has done that. Because there was a Podio thing called I forget what it was called, but it was in Podio, and they would build it for you. And now they made their own system, and it's like $2,000 to get in, and then it's like $297 a month. But you can like text them an address, and then they'll skip trace the person, and then they'll cold call them 3 times, and then if they get the lead, they'll put it into your. I think it was like oh man, it was something with a Z, but it was way too much money. Like
That's similar to. I mean, it's Jerry Norton's thing is way cheaper, but Jerry Norton has Flipster, and it's a CRM. It has it's a deal manager. It's everything in one. Like you can send deals straight from that cloud-based system. You can send an offer straight to the seller from just that.
oh man, Flipster. Okay, I haven't seen that one. I'm about to switch away from REI Simple. I found one by Sean Terry. Now this isn't Flip to Freedom. It's called REI Automator. And because I watched one of his videos, and then now even on my because I have a my work email. I have videos that I watch about like house flipping and stuff like that and wholesaling, and then I have like my personal one, so that I can control what I see. Like I've got stand-up comedy on there, and I watch that, and I watch jokes, and he's the ads on both of those now.
Oh wow!
Like, and he says in the ad, like, "Hey, I'm following you around the internet," so I assume that this REI Automator is also going to be able to like market to sellers with SEO and YouTube ads and Facebook ads and stuff. But then his also has training in it. So if I get my because if I get people in REI Simple, there's no real training for them on what to do on the phone, what to do here, or the different exit strategies. Like he was explaining it in there that like when you get in there, they like literally show you how to, talk about seller financing and subject to and all that other stuff. But now, if you know my story though, so the guy taught me how to do wholesaling. I found a program online where you could learn how to have wholesaling students without ever like actually knowing how to wholesale.
Right.
At the end of it, this dude is on there, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't even know how to wholesale," and I'm like, "This mother, like right here, like." So I fired him, and I found out that like getting we would always close with his buyers, all of his leads. He would get them from ListSource and then sell them to me for an extra like 5 or 6 cents on top. And then he sold me a CRM, and he got an affiliate link every month from it. So it was really sort of like just didn't even know how to wholesale.
So he's like he's like that one kid that doesn't do overages, and he's just on every single real estate YouTube video ever.
Yeah, and he's in that training. So in the training to be a fake mentor is Sean Terry in there showing you how to do stuff. So I'm sort of weary about him. But if he can follow people around the internet, I was talking to a guy a couple of years ago, and he said, "Well, are you full time?" Like, yeah. Are you flipping houses like you set out to? Like, are you wholesaling like you wanted to? And I said, yeah. And so he's like, well, even though that guy was fake and didn't know how to do it, he got you to where you are now. So
yeah, I mean, so all in all, it was worth the investment.
Yeah. And yeah, man, and I went back to his YouTube videos, and he was like, look, I'm virtually wholesaling in Atlanta. And he'd be like, I got a check right here. And it'd be the exact my half of the wholesale deal. There's like all these students he has, like we were splitting all the deals with him. And so like after a while, it wasn't even like me going to him. And then the only communication was over email. And I recently heard that was a virtual assistant that just read his book and then would just, tell me what it said in the book.
Wow.
But yeah, so REI Simple right now does everything, and the only thing I'm seeing the problem with it is the cold calling. So like when I was on the live with my 12 cold callers, I was on there, and it was having trouble cold calling because I'd have to
Uh-huh.
go to the group of like, Kennesaw or Atlanta or Decatur to that city, and I'd have to put that up, and then I'd call that person, and then I'd have to go back and click on the group and get in there, and then it'd be way better if I could just have them in the system and have the system teach them how to hold cold call.
Yeah.
And then, if there's something I don't even know how to do, I mean, it seems like, from the webinar that I was on about it, you could just log in and it'll tell you how to do it. And he described it like my mentor on foreclosures. He would tell me like, hey, do this, go do it, and then come back to me. And I would just send letters like he said, and then they would come back and I'd be like, this person says they got a house, they got a mortgage and they're behind. What do I do? He'd tell me what to do, and then I'd go do it. I mean, that's the best way to learn, is like, because if you stuck in there and you're trying to like figure out how to do it and then go do it,
Yeah.
you're already behind, you're already like wasting time. And I mean, it was so much like off my brain because I was just like, yeah, I knew that I could fall back on him. I just knew, hey, let me send the letters. I focused, I had my blinders on, I just wrote all the letters. And I didn't even write all the letters. I got my printer over here, and I took some white paper and wrote it on the white paper,
Uh-huh.
and they just threw that in the copier. And then I took,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I put
I
the
know what you're
yellow
talking
pad
about.
paper in the back of the printer, and I just printed off a bunch of copies. Me and my wife, Lindsay, want to buy your house. Please give me a call. And it was all
Yeah.
handwritten. It was just copies of black ink on yellow pad paper. And so I mass produced that and, sticked and stamped those, and it worked, and people came back. So yeah, man. Oh, I think you could probably do, I'm sure you could find subject to deals in PropStream too, from looking at like
Rental?
foreclosures, because none of
You
them
say
are going to the auction.
Yeah. I mean, so like I said, I don't want to start that until I
Oh
get
yeah,
that first deal, because like I don't want to have too many dangling silver things in front of my face.
Mhm.
So I want to get the wholesale down first and then work my way into subject to, because they both tie into each other eventually.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna put you guys in my pocket though, because I'm at work. So
Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna record this and I'll put it on YouTube so you can see the rest of it if you need to.
for sure. For sure.
Okay. Let's see. Cold calling, ringless voicemails, and texting. I think it's just more of that. Oh no, you know what? I think I've got a spreadsheet for that. Like
For
uh,
what?
on like I guess it's called a scorecard. Like you track how many like calls you're sending out, how many voicemails you're sending out, how many texts.
Yeah, the dialer that I'm using has all of that in the it's like a section, and it shows exactly how many calls you made, how many contacts you had, how many voicemail you left for that day. And I think that's very helpful because when I was doing it on my phone, it was terrible. Couldn't
Oh
make
yeah,
none of that. When I was using only Google Voice, that's when I first was messing around with
yeah.
it. But
That's gonna get crazy because this one is basically like you make the call and then you go to the spreadsheet and put it in, and
mm,
oh yeah, it's already built in. Yeah, that's what I like about REI Simple, man. Like I had my Podio set up, and I'd have to go in there and set up all the like parameters and like just to see how many calls went out, how many. I'd have to go and say, hey, show me how many deals were done, take the price from those and put them there. I mean, it just does it all for you.
so
So yeah,
that's
you
really
don't even have to
helpful.
worry about tracking it. All
That's
right.
really helpful. Because right now, I just anything that I come across as far as like leads that are interested, I plug it in the Podio and I set a note for myself if they want to follow up or what their price was or everything, and pretty much take it from there. So, you know,
Yeah, you can't beat it.
automated, do it yourself type right now.
Yeah.
doing everything.
Do you have a Deal Machine?
I don't. I have it actually downloaded on my phone, but I don't ever use it, honestly.
Because I could show you how to actually get Deal Machine to link up with Podio. So when
Mm,
you get a new deal in Deal Machine, it'll put the information into Podio, and I've even got it set up where it'll even tell me like, "Hey, we're mailing in Deal Machine, so don't worry about it." That way, I'm not mailing the same person a yellow letter and a postcard.
well, I haven't really touched too much of direct mail. I
Oh, so you're just cold calling, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just doing a cold calling just because I know what the prices are right now. Because I know when I first started doing the mailers, I was all over. I did bandit signs, started doing the mailers. I was handwriting all the letters, then I mail them. And, at that time, I didn't have the budget that I have now, but it got really expensive fast. And I couldn't keep up really. So that's why I was, you know, more with the phones now. So,
Because what I do now is like when I skip trace them, sometimes it doesn't find a phone number for everybody.
right, right,
So those
right.
ones I don't have a phone number for, I put them in Deal Machine and have it mail them, and then all the ones with phone
Okay.
numbers.
So how many prospects are you putting into Deal Machine that you don't have leftover phone number for?
So in Deal Machine, I have, let's see.
Because that's what eventually I was, that's what I'm shooting towards. Everyone that I don't have phone numbers for, I was gonna have to do something with those people too. I can't leave them.
I have 12 pages of, they just tell me how many are in here, how many deals I have. Hmm. So I got 12 pages. I want to say this is like 20 per page.
Okay,
Let me see.
so that's roughly around 240 people.
Yeah.
Um, that's yeah. And how much does that cost you
I've got the $200 plan, so it's
monthly?
80 cents a postcard, and then it's 80 cents a skip trace, and then I've got I think like 15 deal finders. But now they added it where you can just upload in there, so it doesn't matter. You can just get a vacant property list or an absentee owner list, and it's essentially like uh, drove for deals and got them all. And then with the $20 a month street pick on there, it puts a picture on each house anyway. But so I run events and coaching and stuff, and since I'm the super group leader for wholesaling of the South Atlanta RIA, a lot of people come to my events, to wholesale. And so I tell them, hey, text deals to 818181, and it'll text them that Deal Machine link. And then, so I've got deal finders like that. And then, of course, we split it. But I'm going to change that to $10 a deal. So when they send me a house with a picture, I'll just PayPal them like $10. I think that'll work better than paying them $500 when we close, to get the ones that aren't showing up on the list. But yeah, I guess if you're cold calling, and then their skip tracing sucks, and of course it's 80 cents at $200 level, and it almost never finds them. And supposedly it'll find their Facebook too, but I haven't had anybody show up on there. But yeah, I've got it set to every 7 days. So I'm going to basically flood them with the postcard. It's usually my strategy because I want them to have like a stack of my postcards and then like one or two from everybody else.
Right. Well, yeah, that's good. So Deal Machine, you said they have skip tracing too? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they got skip trace, and it's called an enhanced search. But if you're at the $50 level, it's going to be 90 cents. And I mean, it's not that good. I would just export everybody out and then skip them with something else.
Yeah.
Um, and then I've got the one that it puts a picture of you on it. So I'll share it right here.
So they know exactly how you look when they get the postcard in the mail.
Yeah. Well, I think I looked it up. It was business cards. I think they said like if you've got a picture of you on the business card, they're more likely to keep it. So like right here.
Mm.
Yeah. And then they got the house, and then they sell it virtually. And it mentions COVID-19 pandemic. You know, you're scared. Close ASAP over the phone. Yeah, real good.
So where have you been? What has been your return rate from that?
I think it's been so I had it going into Podio, and then I recently had it going in. Now I've got it over to the phone number now comes into RES Simple.
Mm.
The return rate right now is 1.2% in RES Simple, but I have a feeling that that's not accurate right now because I've only been in there for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that's just like them calling back. That's not like deals or anything. So that's the response of people calling in. And then, I mean, as normal, it's usually like the third or fourth postcard of when they actually do call in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was really like trying to do the same thing, but with the calling.
Yeah.
Because if I can afford to send out call, I mean I can call people for at least have a few touches every month, and at least I get more people on the phone in theory. And honestly, I have some people in the pipeline right now. I got some people that's 6 months out, and I have a lady she want to sell within the next couple of weeks. But I'm thinking about before the time is for me to follow up. I'm going to send her an offer probably. Well, tell
Yeah.
me exactly what
We
I want.
started doing that like on the second call. Like the first call is just to get the info. The second call, we actually tell them, hey, we emailed you an offer. Take a look at it. Like regardless, everybody gets an offer.
Right, and that's what I'm gonna make sure I start doing that as well.
Because it's like the thinking is that like, you know, if they've got it, they can just, you know, DocuSign or hit the button and just sign it and go.
Right,
As opposed to like, because if you say, you know, hey, this is our offer, they might want to accept it, you know, but if somebody else sends them a document, hey, sign here, you know, they're gonna get it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Uh,
Yeah, let me see on here. You got
you pay a monthly subscription with Deal Machine. Is that how that works, or?
yeah, it's $200 a month, and then it's 200 for or $20 extra for the street pick, and then you pay per postcard
Mhm.
and per skip trace, and then $50 you have 3 deal finders, and then $200 you have unlimited. And I've been trying to get them on a new plan, and I keep telling them like, why don't you just make it free to get in, and then just make it $1 per postcard, you know, $1 per skip trace, and just get your money that way. Like if you're charging people just to get in the door, and then on top of that they've got to pay for the postcards and all that, like, you know, you'd make your money back because, you know, the barrier to get entry, you know, is so high. So hopefully they'll get in
Have
there.
you used the list source for reverse skip tracing cash buyers?
No, I use reww.com, Real Estate Worldwide.
All right.
I've been using them for a while now. So I've been doing that, and that's I think that's like it was 97 to get it, and then it's $50 a month. But I've just had them for so long. That's just what I use. And then of course you can pull them, I think, in REI Simple too.
I would think that would be like really helpful because I'm pretty sure you can see everybody around the country who buying properties too.
Now,
Just
the only thing I would look at is, where's the calendar? No, for cash buyers. So I think when did this happen? Like, I think he put it in like March 18th, maybe. I would look at cash buyers who just bought in the month of April, because a lot of the other cash buyers, and I've sent them mass texts out saying, hey, do you still buy? Do you still buy? And I would say like maybe 60% of them have like dropped off. And so if I pull a list of cash buyers now, I would pull them just from April, because that means that they've been buying houses during the pandemic.
right.
And so if they're buying them during that time, then they should still be buying them.
Yeah, that's smart. Right there.
Yeah. And then I'm also like, I've got a book on Section 8 called the Section 8 Bible. And every cash buyer that I've got that's a landlord buyer, I try to, say, hey, you could put this one on Section 8, and then the tenant, doesn't matter if they pay or not, because then they'll get that money from the government, as long as you get the voucher. So I'm sort of teaching them on that. That way, they're more likely to get rent checks from the government, and then they'll come back to me later for more deals. So I got to like train them on how to make money. There's a wholesaler here, and I don't know if he's still doing it, because he had sort of he would cold call buyers, like lawyers and attorneys and stuff. And so he would try to get them to give him the top price, and he would get a lot of money, but I don't know if he's still doing it. I haven't seen him on Facebook or anything lately about it, because once they buy a deal from you, that's they go off, and the house,
Yeah, they're not
they're gonna make money.
repeated. Yeah,
Yeah.
repeated buyer. That's what I was thinking too. Because what's the name? PropStream had that option where you could look up all the cash buyers in the area, but I didn't want to go off of that because obviously these are people who just buying properties to live in. They're not investors, pretty much. So
Yeah.
for the most part, and I don't know I don't know how to engineer it to where I can pinpoint the people who are buying multiple properties versus just your typical everyday home buyer. So not sure how that works. Not with PropStream anyway.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, you can do divorce. You can look up bankruptcy and tax delete. You can look up flippers and failed listings.
Yeah, I seen the failed listings, but I didn't see flippers.
Yeah, that's weird. Let's see what that is. I'll do Atlanta. Yeah, so so they listed it, they bought a property cash, and then they listed it months later at a higher price. That's how they find out that they're a flipper. So this would not be, I don't think this would be a landlord buyer, because a landlord buyer would just be a cash buyer that bought it but never actually went and flipped it. Yeah. Oh, and you can see the status. So pending, active. So they're trying to sell that
See
one.
your screen? Because I'm not seeing any. Oh, I see it. It's on yours.
Yeah. And then active, pending. I would want them to be sold though, because they're probably not gonna buy from you if they're still pending.
Right. Because they got their money
They're
tied
active
up.
like nobody's even looking at it.
Mm.
Yeah. And see, this is stupid. Like, this is Atlanta, and then this is Atlanta.
Right.
Man,
What part of Atlanta you live in?
I live over here in Hiram.
Oh, Hiram. Okay.
Yeah, so I live like way out here in the village. So this is like my area right here.
Mableton,
Uh,
Marietta.
Cobb, and then this is Paulding, and then
Yeah.
I do Douglasville.
I used to work out in Kennesaw, and I used to work in Cartersville.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cartersville's out there.
That way, I used to drive to work 2 hours one way, and I stayed on the east side of Atlanta at the time.
Yeah.
It was
And
2 hours every day to work.
this is the county. This big like circle is Fulton, and then there's this little like bottleneck, and
And
then this half is Fulton in the
mm-hmm.
city of Atlanta, and then the bottom half of Fulton is right here. It goes all the way out here. So like
And I
my Meemaw can get on the MARTA bus down here and ride it all the way up.
that's a long
Ricky
ride.
Ridge, Milton, Alpharetta.
Yeah.
Like just like if that ain't gerrymandering, I don't know what is. Like
I'm glad I moved back. It was too much for me. I could not handle living in Atlanta, man. I
yeah,
lived there 3 years, and to this day, I would never move back to Atlanta. I visited since I left, but I would never move back.
so the governor here is opening everything up.
Kemp?
Yeah, he's opening up barbershops, hair salons, bowling alleys. I don't know who's thinking like, hey, let's go bowling right now.
Yeah, right.
And
During
then what's the other word? It was another word for strip clubs, basically. It was like social, I forget what he called it, social businesses. Those strip clubs. And then it's like, how you gonna cut somebody's hair from 6 feet away? Like,
impossible.
yeah, but now those businesses can't get unemployment. If your business goes back up, then you have to go back to work. You can't get unemployment because you're allowed to work, but now you have to work during all of this.
Right.
So I think he's just trying to make these businesses fail. Because it's weird. Because why wouldn't banks open? You know, why wouldn't these other places open up like a tattoo shop? How are you gonna get tattoos from like 6 feet away? Like, and nobody's gonna go to those businesses.
Right.
Like, so they're gonna fail. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. None of the like other places, like cell phone shops, mattress stores. None of those places are opening up. So it's like he's targeting just the small business people. But I don't know. I'm gonna hunker down and wait 2 weeks, and then if everybody gets worse, then we'll go back into stay-at-home order, and then I can go out again. Maybe once a week, and then if not, if we start getting better, then it'll be good. But I'm just gonna wait and see. And in Alabama, and Tennessee, and South Carolina, and Florida have extended their stay-at-home.
Yeah, North
But they're
Carolina.
gonna see if we end up dying more, and they're just gonna wait to see what happens here.
I
So
think we opened back up May the 7th, something like that. North Carolina here.
yeah, that'll be like 2 weeks after.
Right. And honestly, I'm not feeling it, but hey, it's out
Yeah,
of my control.
man. Yeah. So I had a student, and his son died from it.
That's wow.
His house, and he was too afraid to leave the house to go to the hospital because he wasn't sure if he had it, and he didn't want to get it, and then it onset too quickly, and so now he's got to go to his son's house, and get all the stuff out before the landlord, throws it out, and then he's probably gonna get it. And he's an older guy. And then I had another student, or no, one of my cold callers had it, and he was in quarantine. I think he was like 22, and he was in quarantine, and he comes out of quarantine in a couple days. And he said it's been like killer because he can't leave the house. He's got to order food and order everything that he needs, and it's expensive. And I was like, man. And then I've seen a couple of nurses like, because they were people were going to stay at our Airbnb, and then I spoke to a couple nurses, and they were just like, man, it's crazy, like, because what's going to happen is all these people are going to go out, more people are going to get it, and then the already overcrowded hospitals are going to be even more crowded in 2 weeks with more people. And
Yeah, I don't think it's a wise decision right now, but yeah, I do this part time really. I'm a welder, so my company has been open the whole time. We never stopped working.
yeah,
I they made it the option to file for unemployment for any hours we're not getting, but I'm not really concerned about that because I've heard so much about how, you know, the unemployment offices and everything is pretty much backed up because everybody's filing right now. So
yeah, and you don't want to go out there anyway,
right,
man.
and I'm not. I can manage right now as long as this is pretty much my main priority. Honestly, though.
Yeah, I was telling a lot of people that too. Like, use this time when you're at home to, like, replace your income. Because if you can replace it now, when everything lifts up, you won't have to go back to work.
And then that's why I actually fell in love with this because it's like I can do everything from the laptop pretty much. Besides, obviously going out and doing what need to be done as far as looking at houses and driving for dollars, but it's pretty much virtual.
Yeah,
So,
you could be like anywhere in the world, like, and as long as you got your phone and a laptop.
right.
Now, I did a course where you could wholesale just from your smartphone. And so you can create Podio, you can get Deal Machine, and you have other people drive for deals for you. And you can make all the calls right from your phone and track them all in Podio and everything. So it's possible. It might be some work, but laptop, makes it easier.
Right.
Yeah, that's a 4-hour work week. Man, I mean, that's the hardest part, dude. Like, they never tell you about that, but like, I got my first, I think I made 2,000 on my first deal, and I got 1,000 earnest money. Then I got 1,000 at closing, and I had that check in my pocket, and I had my hand on it the whole time while I was pushing carts, and until the next day when I could go to the bank and put it in the bank. And I mean, that day was probably like soggy, and I mean, I'd never seen that much money in my life. And I
Yeah.
was thinking, like, I had to go to work after the closing. I drove to work. I had my suit, my tie. I took all that off, climbed into the back seat, changed into my Walmart clothes, and then went to work. And I was thinking, like, I made like $2,000 in my spare time, and I think there I got like 900 a month. So it was like almost like 3 times what I made there. I felt like Superman being handcuffed and carried off to jail. Like, it was insane. I was like, dude, I could be making this much money, like, working for myself on my own.
Right.
Y'all want me to come in here for like chump change. I mean, and it was hard. And I guess they could tell I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid because they let me go like a couple weeks later. I mean, there's no way. No way. I mean, you expect me to come to the give me a W, give me an A, give me an L, and sit there and try to get me to no, I wasn't having it. And I was like, and they were like, yeah, you're fired. And I was like, okay, I ain't gotta come back. I just walked out. Man, didn't even care anymore.
It's been like that honestly since I've been, I'm trying to get to a point to where, I can work to where I ain't gotta work no more, but I make pretty good, decent money doing what I do. But I want to replace that money because I don't like the fact of me getting up every morning to do the same repetitive work to come back home to be tired and do it all over again. That's how people
Yeah,
end up working 25, 30 years for the same company. Don't know where the time went.
yeah, man.
Time to
Yeah,
actually put your hands on something because these opportunities wasn't around, 3 decades ago. So
man. There was this 80-year-old guy in chemicals, and they would have me come in sometimes, if if it was storming or something, and this dude was 80 years old, and he'd be putting these Clorox bottles on the top shelf and all this heavy stuff, and I'd be like, man, I don't want to be here for like 80 years old. Like, man, that's the best part too, is like waking up whenever I want, going to
yeah,
sleep whenever I want. I don't even have to set any alarms. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, dude. I
That,
mean, there was a quote that I saw, and it was this guy sitting on a Ferrari, and he was like, I've worked hard, or he said, no, no, no. He was telling an employee, he was like, you work hard, you keep doing what you're doing, you strive for better, and next year
I get
I could
another.
buy another one. And
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
told my girl
God,
that. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's a slap in the face, ain't it?
that's exactly what you're doing. Like, the
Slap
people that
in
own
the face.
Walmart have a 24-hour guarded bunker full of food and TV and DVDs and video games and stuff to not only keep them fed, but keep them from being bored for an entire year. And they have enough money left over to have somebody there 24/7 guarding it, like somebody's going to break in. I mean, and that's and it would feed and shelter the entire Walton family. Like, and the whole time we were there working, like, they would never donate any money. They would have us get the customers when they would come through. Hey, do you want to donate to this? Do you want to donate to that? Like, and then all of them, they would have programs where we could get on food stamps, or where we'd get on Section 8, or any sort of help. They would get it from the government to us. They would be saving all their money so they can buy that bunker. I mean, that's what you're doing. If you're not building your own empire, you helping somebody else build theirs.
Pretty much, exactly. You said Walmart did that?
Yeah,
That's crazy. A
yeah,
year worth of food.
yeah, man. I mean, it was
That's I
crazy.
always. I mean, that's pretty much. Everybody think money controls everything. Actually, your food controls everything. Because people will spend a significant amount of money just to make sure they got food. If worse come to worse, in my opinion. But
Yeah, and now they're the pretty much the main business right now that's staying open. I mean, you can't even shut Walmart down during a pandemic, you
dang,
know?
cannot. It'll be a problem. It will
Yeah.
be a problem. Crime going to
Last year, though, uh, I went to a funeral of a lady that worked there, and she went on her 15-minute break and slit her wrists. And we were at the funeral, and it was all people that worked at Walmart. There was no management. There was no um, the family was there, and then it was all frontline cashiers because it was a cashier that passed that slit her wrists, and they were all wearing their Walmart clothes, and so Walmart didn't even let them get the day off to go to this or give them enough time to go home and then go to this. They literally had to take their lunch break to go to the funeral of a lady who passed away, and it was like, and it was her. I think her like last 15-minute break for the day. So she had not planned on doing it, which was the other thing. And so it was like, management was the one that pushed her. And then this was the day that, finally just had it. And I was like, man, they couldn't even like get management in here. That was just insane, dude.
That's ridiculous. Well, that goes to show you exactly where it's about to head to. That's why I talk to a lot of people who is my age, and I'm 25. I talk to a lot of people who my age, and I'm not the best of persons, but I try to put it in their head like this is the best time to own something because, like I said, we didn't have these opportunities, and based on what we see with the news and economy, you got to be able to protect yourself. That's what money really is about: freedom, protection. Like
Yeah.
you have to have that. It's mandatory for your survival because you don't know what's about to happen.
Yep.
Nobody else to save you. That's impossible.
Yeah, you got to be prepared. I mean, I guess if it came to it, I could kick a tenant out of one of my houses and stay in that house if I had to. Like this one, I think there's a mortgage on. I think no, my wife got a mortgage on this one, and so we paid a mortgage on this one. But a couple of them, I've got them free and clear. And yeah, man. And then luckily, I've got enough money to where if I had to, I could probably just order food, here if I had to get stuck here. And then I think like one of the service. I know you can order groceries too.
Yeah, I heard that's a new service with Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon does it.
dude, they will bring something and they will open your garage remotely. And with a Ring doorbell, you will get a video of them putting that thing in your bed or in your house. And somebody was saying like there was this joke where it was like I ordered pajamas and I fell asleep and I woke up and somebody from Amazon was putting pajamas on me and they just whisper like this comes with Prime now. And you just okay, go back to sleep. Like I mean, I don't know about somebody coming in my house like
Right.
but I mean, what a time to be alive, man. Like I could
Exactly.
imagine if this had happened like back in like the 90s or in the 80s like before technology, we'd just be stuck at home with Ouija boards and chutes and ladders like
Right.
suck. But yeah, you got to keep on and the other hard part is that like now there's no manager over you, like nobody telling you what to do, nobody keeping on. And that's the good thing about this group is that we can get on everybody and hold each other accountable.
Yeah, that's why I make it a habit to make sure I'm at least present to every meeting if possible. I mean, I'm doing my part. Everybody got different, situations going on. I'm not saying I'm gonna be here every Friday, but
Yeah,
the main thing when I first started, I didn't see the power of, networking. You have to, stay in touch with people who doing the same thing as you, really. It's important to me anyway. It has to be because if I don't, I fall back into my own comfortable ways. So
all right, so I'm gonna go in here. Where's this group? And I'm gonna hold these people accountable. I'm gonna tag everybody that didn't show up. I think Tim, I don't think he could make Fridays, so he gets a pass. And then
I've been talking to Dave pretty regularly. Like
yeah,
quite often. David.
yeah. Let's see. Tim, I think was Pat. Where's the? So I tagged a bunch of people. Oh, so all right. So I tagged. I think Tim. So Joseph, Nelson, Tone, and David didn't make it. David said, just seeing this. Man, that was an hour ago when he said that. He could have jumped on. Oh, he's got a deal on the hook. Guy hasn't made his mortgage payment and paid taxes in 2 or 3 years. There's a pissed off ex-wife in the mix. Bird Dog found the deal, talking to him this afternoon. Pray. Yeah, pray for that. So if you have a wife, Dave, I would get your wife to talk to the ex-wife, and I would just have you talk to the guy. And then when you're talking to him, throw her under the bus, like, man, this lady trying to get all your money. and then have your wife get on her side and throw her under the bus. And then, yeah. And the good thing with those is usually I hear from what little I've done on that, that you can usually get it for a lower price because the one person doesn't want the other person to get a whole lot of money on it. So they usually both end up coming down to the bottom. Yeah. But all right, so Nelson, Joseph, Tone, and I guess Dave would get a pass because and then Tim will get a pass because I don't know if Fridays are good with him. Oh, Tone is at work right now. Okay, so you get a pass. All right. Maybe we could do this later in the day. With
Yeah, I think
Friday.
probably be a good idea actually. For
Okay.
everybody to hop on, that'd be a good idea. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I'm so used to just whenever, like doing it in the middle of the day. So let's do this at I do my student masterminds at 7, so let's do 7.
Every Friday at 7?
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. Okay. Yeah. We probably should have done a poll on the time of day too, as well as like what day of the week. Okay. All right, and then so let's see. For next week, I'm going to I'm going to check up on my cold callers, making sure they're cold calling. I'm going to meet with them on how to improve. And if any people are not cold calling as much, I'm going to have one-on-one time with them to see, like, what's going on. Like, are you able to cold call more? Maybe you should try texting, sending the ringless voicemails, that kind of thing. And then I'm going to cold call and ringless voicemail and message some of those people too. So I'm going to put myself in there, and I've got that spreadsheet with the points. And so I'm going to calculate everybody's points and hopefully turn it into like I don't know if y'all ever played Xbox, but like you get points for playing games on there. So hopefully this was sort of like a game to get people to incentivize them to, pump their numbers up. So that's my plan for next week. Kevin, since you're the only one on here, what is your plan going to be for next week?
As of right now, I said I was doing at least 300. I'm actually about to send in a list after we get off the call. Depending on how many people, I want to at least make sure whatever number I come up with as far as available phone numbers, I want to be able to divide that between 4 weeks, a month's time, and at least send out, call at least a quarter of whatever I come up with. Send out an RVM for a quarter and send out a text message of a quarter of whatever the monthly goal is to make sure I'm hitting my numbers per week. That's my goal. Trying to maintain. I also get my cash buyers list too. That's
oh yeah.
My cash buyers list right now is probably at like this week 150 maybe. I want it to be as strong as possible.
Yeah, me too. I gotta reach out to them now and make sure that they're still buying and hit them up. I should probably cold call mine too, so I'm gonna add that to mine. Yeah, check up on my buyers, see if they need any help, if they need any lenders, anything like that, and then I'm gonna, if they need like if their lenders have dropped off, I'm gonna see if I can find them another lender. All right.
All right.
So that's the goal for next week.
Yes, sir.
I'll see y'all next Friday at 7.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
You too. See you, Kevin.
All right.